Well, my name is Sheila Lieder, and I'm a member, as Greg said, of the Communication Workers of America, Local 7777, or known as Quad 7, CWA. And as most unionists, I wear many hats. And I've been a job steward, an area representative, a political activist for about 25 years. And the current hats I wear for my local union is area representative for about 40 central office equipment installation technicians. See, I still work for CenturyLink, formerly Quest, and I still represent them in the workplace. I'm also a peer, that's a program for employees' information and resources, and the legislative political director / lobbyist, CWA state coordinator, and I sit on the executive board of my local union, the Coalition of Labor Union Women, the Denver Area Labor Federation, and I'm the president of my HOA, because they're not telling me what to do without my input. And in the community, I have been an American Labor Merit Badge counselor for the Boy Scouts. And you're probably thinking, is she crazy? Well, that would depend upon who you ask. Then why? Well, I'm a firm believer that you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And we all know these days there's a lot of problems out there. So I started working for the telecommunication company Mountain Bell in 1980. I was laid off during divestiture, and thank God for my CWA union contract, I had 2-year callback rights if rehiring was needed. So I was laid off 1 year, 6 months, and 13 days. But who's counting? I was recalled in 1984 as AT&T. Then in 1986, I was told the office where I worked in Cheyenne, Wyoming, was closing. No, I didn't mention that part. I was born and raised there. It's because I've heard every sheep joke in the world when I moved here. So my choices were Phoenix, Arizona, or Denver, to be able to come back to the mother company, US West, at the time. So in 1986, I moved here to work for US West, which was sold to Quest, to now CenturyLink, and I've been through many CEOs, Mountain Bell's Gary Ames, the AT&T Michael Armstrong, US West's Dick Notobart, Quest's Joe Naccio, not your company anymore when I stole your 401k. Really? Then Ed Miller, to CenturyLink's Glenn Post III. Wow. The only thing that remained the same is CWA, which covered the 14 states that the regional Bell operating companies were in: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Montana, Wyoming, New Mexico, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, and Iowa. And the reason I believe we are all still here, there's strength in numbers. You have CWA members in 14 states working for a common goal, a fair contract for their members with their employer. And CWA may need your help in October. Our contract is up. And with the new company CenturyLink, well, what I've seen so far, they do not like that 14-state contract. They have 37 separate contracts for the union. They know their strength in numbers, and they have divided us up into regions. In the way the company operates and who their VPs are for their area, well, I hope they will not attempt to pattern our CWA 14-state contract with their geographical region. We must not stand for that, and we have to stand strong and not allow that to happen. Because I believe everyone deserves a collective bargaining agreement. A collective bargaining, it develops a sense of self-respect and responsibility among the employees. It increases the strength of the workforce, thereby increasing the bargaining capacity as a group. Collective bargaining increases the morale of productivity of the employees, and it restricts management's freedom from arbitrary actions against the employee. God knows I'd be in trouble. Moreover, the unilateral actions by the employer. The workers feel motivated as they can approach their union on various matters which need addressed with the management. And it helps in securing a prompt and fair settlement for grievances. It provides a flexible means of the adjustment of wages and employment conditions to economic and technological changes in the industry, and as a result of which the chances for conflict are reduced. You show me a CEO out there that doesn't have a contract. Because times are tough trying to get contracts for the workers, because collective bargaining rights and the right to organize have been under corporate assault for 3 decades. And we all have to stand together. It goes back to the old adage, is you take on one of us, you take on all of us. So let's look at Verizon. When their contract expired, nearly 100 concessionary company proposals remained on the table. As a result, CWA and IBEW decided to take the unprecedented step of striking until Verizon stopped its Wisconsin-style tactics and started bargaining seriously. Even at the 11th hour, as contracts were set to expire, Verizon continued to seek to strip away 50 years of collective bargaining gains for middle-class workers and their families. So CWA and IBEW members, they returned to work when management demonstrated the willingness to begin bargaining seriously for a fair agreement. See, they still do not have a contract, and it's not because Verizon is broke. Let me give you their financials. 2011, their annualized revenue are $108 billion. Annualized net profit are $6 billion. And Verizon Wireless just paid its parent company and Vodafone a $10 billion dividend. Verizon's top 5 executives received compensation of $258 million over the past 4 years. Exactly. You know, the contract covers 45,000 members of CWA and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers from New England to Virginia. Sisters and brothers, this is the corporate greed we are all up against. Still today, we leaflet the Verizon stores. We share the responsibility for the one on the 16th Street Mall, 5 days a week with CWA's Quad 7, Local 7750, our CWA retirees and the district office, along with the AFL-CIO, and many of the Denver Area Labor Federation that's comprised of many union members. In addition, we've reached out to community members to help us with our fight. The Interfaith Justice Group, we have the Coalition of Labor Union Women, Working America, APRI, Move On, and the Sierra Club. We all must stand together, because when people work together, they can usually accomplish more as a team, as Lou can tell you, than separately. And we need the behavior or action of a group working toward a common goal, because when individuals engage in collective action, the strength of the group's resources, knowledge, and effort is combined to reach a goal shared by all parties. So we must educate our young in the community as well as in the schools. And how much are you allowed to teach about labor unions in the classroom? When I found out there was an American Labor Merit Badge, I signed up to be my son's Boy Scout counselor for his troop. So let me read you the requirements of this merit badge. They're extremely educational, so bear with me. There's 9 of them. Number 1, list and briefly describe or give examples of at least 8 concerns of American workers. Number 2, with your counselor and parents' approval and permission, visit the office or attend a meeting of a local union, a central labor council, then find out information about it. Number 3, explain to your counselor what labor unions are, what they do, and what services they provide to their members. Number 4, explain what is meant by the adversarial model of labor management relations compared with a cooperative bargaining style. And number 5, it'll tell you do one of the following, and it lists a few examples like A, B, and C. Well, A is develop a timeline of significant events in the history of the American labor movement from the 1770s to the present, and then it gives them a list of the timeline. And B, they can prepare and exhibit a type of presentation illustrating 3 major achievements of the American labor movement and how those achievements affect American workers. 6, discuss with your counselor some effects of the globalization on the workforce in the United States. And 7, Choose a labor issue of widespread interest to American workers, an issue in the news currently, or known to you from your work on this merit badge. And number 8, discuss with your counselor the different goals that may motivate the owners of a business, its stockholders, its customers, and its employees, the employees' representatives, the community, and public officials. Then explain why the agreement and compromises are made and how they affect each group in achieving its customers, its employees, the employees' representatives, and the community and the public officials. And then explain why these agreements and compromises are made and how they affect each group in achieving these goals. And then number 9, learn how opportunities in the field of labor relations and what it takes to do that work. So just think for a minute. So if we think for a minute, if our elected officials had to learn this before taking office, maybe some of them would figure out whom they truly represent, the people, not the corporations and not the lobbyists. So I really believe educating the young will ensure the labor movement's prosperity beyond our tenure as well as our lifetime. Because we cannot stop our labor message here, though. We must tell everyone in every event possible, in the community, the grocery stores, our churches, and we would be fools not to capture the momentum of Occupy Wall Street. To educate them, I have marched with them, talked with them, and they thank me for the support of my union, and I love reading all those creative signs. Respect existence or expect resistance. By the people, not by the people. And that's BY and BUI. Everyone needs to get involved in their political process at all levels, from precinct committee person to the captain to the House district chairs, to be appointed to boards, to elected officials. Attend your caucuses, your county and state assemblies. Let all know labor is here to stay. They like to keep us busy putting foods on our tables, so we're not involved in their political process, but it's our political process. So they can do whatever they want to with us, and that is to take labor out at the kneecaps. Colorado, it ranks 4th in the highest amount of lobbyists, and Colorado also ranks the highest in child poverty. And I don't need to tell you that we rank the lowest in funding for our education system. And this is truly pathetic. These children are our future. We must stand together. CWA Quad 7, just our local here, represents a diverse group of people. We have CenturyLink, Avaya, Dex One's Yellow Pages, AT&T Mobility, the DPS Custodians, SEIU, Union Taxi, and now Super Shuttle at the airport. There has to be a message, a common goal. We must stand for our union values. So I urge all of you to continue down the path to improve your collective bargaining agreements. Back home in your school districts, we must all stand up for the middle class of our members. And I urge you to reach out to your brother and sister unions in your local community and sit at the table and talk together. Get to know each other, and when we work together as union members, we are all stronger. Because why? When you take on one of us, take on all of us. Thank you very much. Solidarity, sisters and brothers.